So rose, headstrong, even when my mind is getting old. But even so, you need to know that no, I can't be controlled.
It's the arrival. I came in the league, went straight for the title. No time to idle. I finna get it, put that on a Bible. This is survival. Gotta treat every move made like the final. One by a mile. Nobody believe it, they all in denial. Hey, look at me, look at me. Still in the show, that's the crook in me. They want me gone with the hook in me. Asking why is he here like I shouldn't be. I've been on grind since I old. 10,000 hours the motto. They see the bag is coming out and flocking to me like I won the lotto. Dancing with the devil, there's no recital. I'm killing competition, ain't no revival. I shoot it to kill it, I'm aiming for vitals. I'm showing no mercy when facing my rivals. Snakes in the grass, they getting exposed. I know they be lurking, I'm watching them close. Acting like friends, but really they foes. Saw they be scheming and said adios. Yeah, I gotta get it. Yeah, by any means. I gotta get it. I gotta get it, the mindset. Hey, back with a vengeance, back on the grinds, back to the business. Hey, God is my witness, they watching my moves like shows they binging. Hey, best keep distance, all of my haters send best of wishes. I get to the bag with the quickness, no I don't need no assistance, no. Yeah, no playing it safe. I said let's get it, you say not today. What can I say? You ain't gon' go for it, get out the way. Yeah, got no time to waste. Can't be with me if you not at my pace. You not at my level, you not in my race. One foot on the gas, I'm pushing the brakes. Dancing with the devil, there's no recital. I'm killing competition, ain't no revival. I shoot it to kill it, I'm aiming for vitals. I'm showing no mercy when facing my rivals. Snakes in the grass, they getting exposed. I know they be lurking, I'm watching them close. Acting like friends, but really they foes. Saw they be scheming and said adios. Yeah, I gotta get it. Yeah, by any means. I gotta get it, the mindset. I gotta get it, the mindset. I gotta get it, the mindset.
Now or never. Now or never. Now or never. Now or never. Now or never.
The Mountain, Mount Panorama, Bathurst, Miatas. Well, let's get some MX-5s in the action, and let's put two sim racing esports communities up against one another. You've got the Legion of Racers versus Next Level Racing here on RaceSpot TV as we welcome you to coverage of this fun event. 20 minutes worth of racing on the mountain. My name is Will Vincent. I've got Charles Thezera just alongside me. Well, it's actually lunchtime. It's my lunch break in the UK. Not for you. You're just about packing ready to go back to Singapore.
Yeah, it's great to be here on this live broadcast tonight for viewers all over the world. Really exciting event, 55-car grid. And yeah, I've got a pack to go back to Singapore tomorrow. So yeah, fun times.
Fun times indeed, as you said. 55 cars going to do battle up and down the mountain in a 20-minute race. And the key thing is, this is a fun race. It's a community race, and that means no damage here today. iRacing rules are in effect, but apart from that, as we said before we went live, drivers, well, have at it.
Exactly. It's going to be a melee, this whole race, with really exciting prizes on the line for the community. So yeah, hopefully we keep it clean. But so here are the prizes on offer. So for the overall first place in the race, they will win the GT Elite cockpit. And first place in community, will win our brand new Elite Gaming Chair that has just been released last week. In second place to fifth place gets iRacing vouchers, as well as one lucky winner will get a $50 iRacing voucher as well.
Indeed. So what that means, basically, prizes up and down the field. A lot of really cool prizes provided to us. And, of course, iRacing vouchers, well, that will get you, at the very least, one track in one car. And it also notes that it doesn't matter where you finish, there's that chance of you getting yourself 50 iRacing credits. I was having a look just before we went live at the iRating of these drivers. The very top iRated driver, you might know him, the number 77 car of Madison Down. The lowest iRating driver, 749, a range of iRacing safety records as well. That all goes out the window for the next hour or so of our coverage, because anyone can win on the mountain. And as you know, as I know, it just takes one driver to have a mistake that might block the track. And of course, it's how well can you negotiate the chaos on those first couple of laps.
It's going to be absolutely, it's going to be so tight up the mountain, with the dipper, the elbow. The drivers also have to watch out because you're going to be running nose to tail up the mountain, and with the performance difference in these MX-5s, there really isn't that much within them. So you're going to have to keep it clean and keep your eyes on the prize.
And thank you very much to everyone watching us across Facebook, across YouTube, across Twitter. Don't forget to follow Next Level Racing on Instagram, Twitter, and on Facebook. You can find them. Just a little Google search as we turn our attention over to live pictures then. We've got ourselves 15 minutes remaining in practice. We've got a couple of things we're going to need to explain to you as we'll pull that ticker up on the left-hand side of your screen in a few moments' time. We tried to make it as easy as possible today because, as we talked about already, community members are involved in this, but then of course also we've got actual drivers from Legion of Racers and actual people involved in the organization and driving for Next Level Racing. So we'll put them, we'll color code them in terms of our ticket in a moment. We're having a look, and don't forget, live timing and scoring is available. Racebot.tv/timing. We're looking at Josh Soto right now, a 07 car, who is the fastest driver right now in terms of our practice. Well, that doesn't really matter because no one's at a qualifying time, a practice time, or anything. You get to experience it alongside Ash Soto is a Next Level Racing community member, and that means he's got that nice little blue strip on our graphics, and it will be tinged blue on our ticker, Charles.
Yeah, exactly. So tonight we have community members, as Will, you have already mentioned, and we have Legion of Racers who will be in the pink striped cars. And then we have our staff members, our lovely staff members, in the light grey name tags on there, as well as our ambassadors in the red cars.
We didn't get the chance to use the entire rainbow, but we got pretty close. That is Nigel Char, Legion of Racers, and, well, he hits the wall. Normally you hit the wall, you tow yourself back to pit road. Not today. You hit the wall. What we're going to call it is the world's fastest on-track pit stop, because the cars, you will see them getting some damage, and then momentarily they magically fix themselves. We were panicking is the correct phrase to use, Charles, a couple of moments ago, thinking, wait a minute, there's body parts all over the track, what's going on? And actually, the car kind of self-healed itself, a little like something we'll normally see in one of these end-of-the-world style movies you can catch in cinema.
Yeah, I think Mazda have definitely outdone themselves this time with their new technology they're rolling out. And iRacing users get to experience it firsthand, so it's really cool.
Yeah, it is. We're looking on board with Madison Down in the number 32 car. As you can tell, he's a Next Level Racing ambassador, so he's got that little red hue across his graphics. We're looking on board with him. So many people know him, of course, from his racing exploits down under. He's a legend, shall we say, down in the community in terms of the championships that he's won, but also we get to see him quite often when iRacing special events come around to the mountain, both in the Bathurst 12-hour and, of course, the Bathurst 1000, the highlight event of the Australasian sim racing events calendar of the year. Soto set himself a lap time then, 2:33.755. Yeah, there's no way we're going to get ourselves below 2 minutes. I doubt we're even going to get ourselves much below 2 minutes 30 on a competitive lap time here today. But Madison Down then starts a lap of the mountain, heading himself immediately into turn 1, Hell Corner. Driving a Mazda around here is very, very different from driving a GT car, driving a supercar. The key word, and anyone who's got the Racebot TV bingo card will be able to scratch one off here. It's called momentum. You get the momentum right uphill, great. If you end up having to basically slide, catch a gear, that's going to cost you about a second and a half immediately because of how slow these cars accelerate compared to a GT machine.
Yeah, exactly. These drivers are going to have a hell of a challenge today because not only do you have to keep the momentum going up the hill, but you also have to be super precise and accurate in the essence and the dipper and the elbow. And then you reach the chase, nose to tail, and you have to spot your braking point, nail it, and complete the lap. And you have to do this for 20 minutes with 55 cars, 55 other maniacs on the track with you. So that's going to be a heck of a lot of fun.
We've not got pit stops to separate the field out, and you get yourself down to the chase. I've called a number of races in Nürburgring Nordschleife when you've got Miatas going 5 wide down the Dossinger Hohe, for example. That is always entertaining. We're going to get a little bit of that today as the drivers will work themselves down the chase. That little right-hand kink, I very half expect to see them going 4 wide there at some point. We have got lap times in then, as our fastest time so far, 2:32.919, set by the number 88 car. It's just updating my timing and scoring screen so I can get everything I need to do. You can do the same, as I said. It's Cody D who's currently the fastest, on track by 8 tenths to a second. We're going to finish this lap, though, on board with Madison Down in that number 32 car. He's been having a couple of chuckles as he worked himself up the mountain. Of course, you need to get all of your attention just right here. Let's listen into the chase. Not even a hint of braking there. None of these cars are going to be braking. Flat out on the limiter pretty much. Then you enter through the left-hander, hug that curb on the right-hand side as much as you can. Don't really need to attack the curb on the left as you exit the chase. Then the final corner to go, left-hander, pit road on your left-hand side. We're not going to be needing that here today. One thing that is going to be important to note is because of the number of drivers we have in our field here today, not all of them will actually be starting the start-finish stretch. So there was a 2:33.6 from Madison Down going 4th for the time being. A lot of these drivers will actually be starting on the final corner, just before the final corner, maybe some of them just touching the exit there of the chase section of the racetrack, Charles. So with some of these at the back of the field, they're definitely not going to be seeing the start lights on the gantry.
And that's going to be a challenge. Thankfully, iRacing has floating starting lights on the screen, so I think the drivers should be okay there.
It's a little bit like they get a drone, they just hover it on top of the race cars. This is what motor racing is going to be in about 20 years' time. Drones will be doing all the starting lights. So we're not going to have the case of people saying, oh, but I didn't see the yellow flag. The yellow flag will literally be hovering right on top of you. Josh Muggleton's got the fastest time now, 2:32.7. You're laughing. Come on, I'm not making audacious claims, am I?
Oh, I don't know if you caught the Formula 1 broadcast in Barcelona a few weeks ago. They had a drone camera for the first time ever, and it was pretty leery. And honestly, I don't know if that's also safe for the drivers, but you got to trust the FIA, don't you?
Well, I've seen drone cameras in American football. I've seen it in baseball. I've seen it in 1 or 2 soccer games. I believe they had one on the Champions League final. At least one thing that was able to get themselves into the stadium last Saturday. As 8 minutes remaining in practice. We're looking at a staff member. This is Steve Wiper in the 456 car, heading himself then up towards turn number 2. And from here, normally would say this track gets single file, but these Miatas, basically, they're not wide cars. And you can pretty much try and overtake. I guarantee we're going to see drivers 2 wide, literally all the way up the mountain.
Oh, I was thinking maybe 3 or 4 wide. But, I mean, if you look at the... If you look how wide these MX-5s are, you can definitely run 3 wide all the way up the mountain.
Yeah, indeed. I've seen them go 7 wide once or twice in a couple of racetracks, but that's Dylan Tan. This is what we mean. No damage on these cars. I don't know why Dylan's escaping out, because it's going to take him longer now to get back out, unless he's just allowing traffic to go past him. But in this situation, you don't need to just hit the escape button. He's doing so anyway, because now he's just lost himself in time. He's going to do an entire new outlap.
Yeah, luckily for him, they have plenty of fuel down in Bathurst.
Yeah. I've heard some stories over the years about drivers going to the Bathurst 1000, and they have not only their entry ticket, but they have a certain point on track where they basically go 2-3 weeks beforehand, dig themselves a little hole, put down whatever they might need for race day, cover the hole back up, and then they don't have to worry about the extortionate prices around the track to get themselves a bottle of water or anything like that. This track, as we know, has got a lot of undulation. It measures just over 6.2 kilometers in length, opened in 1938. So the highest point to lowest point is 174 meters. It does feel a lot more than that when you're driving, though.
Oh, massively. Having walked the track a few years ago, you know, walking up Mountain Straight is one thing, but once you go past turn 2, turn 3, it gets really, really steep, and it's incredible. What a racetrack, and definitely an iconic one around the world.
Most definitely, and what a great track to have these Mazda MX-5s on as well. The different liveries, of course, will also associate to the roles and the members as they take part in this race. So it's worth noting that we've got, as I said, on the left-hand side of your screen, blue, red, pink, and grey. So the pink, that represents a next level racing ambassador, as we're looking right now at Flynn Godfrey Mullany in the number 26 car, heading himself up Mountain Straight. We're going to go on board with him as he works up Mountain Straight towards Griffin's Bend. And of course, normally, this will be one of your best overtaking opportunities on track. The issue is sometimes when you're running in the draft, you're going to end up bouncing off the limiter before you get into Griffin's.
Oh, and you can already see the times are getting really tight. From the top 14 cars are coming by in seconds. So qualifying is going to be so crucial to finding some space on track to get a clean lap in, especially like we mentioned with the full grid of these MX-5s. Even though they might be small, you do want to find it yourself a bit of clear air.
Yeah, indeed, and it's a rather busy racetrack right now. 33 drivers have set themselves a lap time in practice. A couple of people haven't. The one I'm most looking forward to see is Joshua Anderson, number 36 car. Anyone that's watching iRacing World Championship Series or a number of the iRacing special events will know of the name of Josh Anderson. We've got 55 drivers in the field. 52 of them are on track right now, so it's a rather busy racetrack. In practice, of course, the only thing you're looking for is a bit of glory being at the top of the field, but your traffic management ideas, well, they start now.
Yeah, and you can definitely see, oh, there's a punt at the elbow. that was not very nice, but
that was a simple case.
It's only practice.
Yeah, that was a simple case of, look, I'm accelerating, you're too slow, off you go, out the way, you're into the Falcon barrier.
Yeah, if you can't go left, you can't go right, you definitely can't go over, and you can't go under, you go through them.
Pretty much, yeah. I now have a song that I remember from my childhood about the one balls. Thank you very much. As Mullany is going to come. This will basically invalidate the lap time in qualifying, of course. You're not allowed to touch anything. You're not allowed to touch your walls. You're not allowed to touch any other drivers. Of course, that's just the way it is in terms of qualifying. But the number 26 car heading himself down towards the final corner. Murray's corner, as it is. Turn 23 on track. You exit here. Dance towards the start-finish line. He's not going to get pole position. Well, not pole position. Fastest in qualifying time because of that punt. 2:35.182 puts him 28th for the time being. But he has a sight of at least 2/3 of the lap as 3 minutes remain in practice. These lap times 2:30 plus. Well, that's just testing out the damage model. That's it.
Yeah, the safety on these cars are definitely world class, as you can imagine.
We're looking now at Josh Anderson. I said that he hadn't set a lap time. He set a lap time, 2:32.460, fastest by, get this, 0.3 of a second over Muggleton. Anderson has just basically found that nitros button, if one existed in these cars, of course, has hit it. He's gone to the top of the timing stands.
Yeah, it's all heating up now, isn't it? You can see in 5th place, in the number 3 car, Aaron Borg. He's a Super 2 and Super Youth driver in Australia, and it's his first time joining our community event, and he's definitely one to watch out for. He's also taken some victories in international esports competitions, so yeah, few big names to keep an eye out for.
Oh yeah, but of course, don't forget, it's not all about the winners. Community events will get themselves a number of iRacing credits from the 1st down to the 5th, and of course there's a $50 iRacing credit to any driver eligible in this field as well. There's a little bit of the drafting that we're going to be talking about a lot. This is down Conrad. We're looking at Mohammed Iman Danish right now as they come into the chase. You can go left, you're going to go right. When do you get onto the brake pedal? And of course, with no other rules apart from what is in the iRacing sporting code, that is incredible. Someone clip that, someone send that to the iRacing top 10. That was incredible. But with no other rules apart from what is in the iRacing regulations book. We're not even using half of that today. Down at the chase, we're going to see many people pushing others basically off the track.
Yeah, I believe the iRacing, built-in iRacing penalty system will penalize you for it, despite us turning damage off. Those rules still apply, and if you are found to be breaking those rules, then you will have to find yourself with a penalty.
Yeah, indeed. The driver at the front of your field, though, they could well be a sitting duck. It's all going to be a case of maximizing your momentum out of Forest Elbow, turns 18, 19. Because the last thing you want is to have a driver right behind you, because they can lean on you into the breaking of the chase. We're going to get many examples of this. We'll find it in the race. We'll talk about it. Because if you're the driver that's pushing someone off the track, well, there's a good chance you might still make the apex of the chase, and you can take the corner. It's only going to, of course, be about the rejoins as well. Connery Maddock from Racesport TV might have just woken up after I said the word rejoin. Doesn't matter how you rejoin the track. Just need to serve your slow down penalty if you do so. We're on board with Josh Muggleton right now. And we're not going to complete his lap because there's only 10 seconds left in practice. We are about to head ourselves over to qualifying for this race then. So practice is done. It is in the books as we're about to head ourselves to qualifying Legion of Racers versus Next Level Racing here live on Racesport TV and across Next Level Racing's Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, you name it, we're there, here with you this afternoon, this evening, wherever part of the world you may well be involved in. So that is practice done. 15 minutes of qualifying. They got the green light. The drivers are waiting for their place in the pit party. And off we go then, Charles. 15 minutes of qualifying. And I think that might be one of the largest pit parties I've seen in a very, very long time.
Oh, what a majestic sight, seeing these MX-5s making their way up the mountain for this all-important qualifying session. With a big grid, if you're starting mid-pack, there's a high chance that you're going to be caught up in an accident. So you really want to nail your qualifying, get a clear run, smash the lap, put yourself as far ahead up the grid as you can, and then you focus on the race.
Already we've had a minute of qualifying and most of these drivers aren't even out of pit road yet. Track placement is going to be absolutely everything in qualifying. What you want is a couple of drivers ahead of you that can be a roughly the same lap time. As I said before, qualifying rules are simple. If you touch the wall, you get a 0x as we call it, then your qualifying lap is over. You lose control, your qualifying lap is over. You get a 2x by hitting the wall more harshly, your qualifying is over. You bum draft someone and you hit them too hard, your qualifying is over. If you wreck another driver, your qualifying is over. If you get turned around by someone else, your qualifying lap is over. And it might seem that, oh, you got another opportunity, but the way things are, it'll take you a lap maybe to regroup. You've only really got 2 or 3 laps here of the mountain. So yes, there might not be race control, but these drivers need discipline, and the enemies you make now are the enemies that might come back to haunt you when we come to the race. Looking at Josh Anderson, number 36 car, heading down the hill then, as this is going to be the outlap I think with Anderson, it would be great to get an onboard lap of him to see how he's going to negotiate the draft. He's got a driver just behind him right now, and as you come into the chase, it's going to be a case of, are you going to let them pass or are you going to fight for position? A number of drivers being let pass by the number 36 car of Joshua Anderson, including Toby Wilson in the number 37. It'd be great if you had a spotter to really tell you, okay, let this driver pass, don't let this driver pass. Because a good part about qualifying in these situations, it's not just about offense, how quickly can you go. There's a little bit of defense in there as well, about can you actually make life more difficult for a driver. So Josh Anderson then, Next Level Racing community member. We're going to go on board with him as he heads himself then down to the final corner here at Mount Panorama. Murray's corner, picks up the throttle, gets his qualifying lap underway, Charles.
The line, leading a whole gaggle of cars behind him. Going down to turn 1, hell corner, spots his braking, puts 2 wheels in the grass on the entry. Gets a pretty decent line still, and now he has to tow all the way up Mountain Straight. It's quite interesting to see the whole group of cars behind him sitting in the tow, because if there is an incident up ahead, your qualifying lap is over.
The thing is about this track as well, you need to, especially come to race time, normally it'll be slow down and prepared to stop when you have double wave yellows. I have no idea what these drivers will do when they see double wave yellows exactly like this. Anderson survives though. The incident was on the right hand side of the track. He was already on the left hand side, and then it leaves me a bit of blind faith here. Normally you would be expected to slow down, not in this qualifying. You just have to hope that you can get yourself through it.
Exactly, and it's so blind going up the mountain too, with the walls being so close. As he goes through Griffins, through Reed Park. Oh, absolutely pinned going up the mountain. McPhillamy Park, this next corner is extremely tricky. It's crested going in, super fast at the exit, and now you have to spot your braking point for Skyline, thread the needle downhill. And you watch out for the 2 cars ahead. Then
this is everything.
Yeah, Anderson's catching them, and he's gonna get a bit of traffic. He makes his way past it with no problem. Down to the elbow, hook it in, and get under power all the way down the hill. And use as much tow as you can down Conrod.
I think after this, we need to pay attention a little bit to those lights on the top of the dashboard there, because you'll see they're currently in the yellow, but they're going to, as they go up the crest, that light will basically start hitting towards the rev limiter as you come into the chase, and that is the draft coming into play as well. You got to make sure you can break that car down as quickly as you can. Fastest qualifying time, by the way, right now, it is a 1 minute 32.132 set by the number 1 car, as now coming into the final corner for Anderson, one of our community members here today. That left-hander down at Murray's corner, turn number 23 on track. He's looking to be a 232.1. I think it's going to be close. He doesn't get there. 232.367. So qualifying has already got down to less than halfway to go. We're just seeing the first of these lap times. It's Nicholas Rublar leading in the number 1 car, then by just actually 2 tenths of a second over Cody Dees. Anderson slots into 3rd, Aaron Borg in 4th, Dominic Plona in 5th, then Madison Down, Jeremy Shipney, Adika Ramamulana, Hayden Sell, and Daniel Nolan round out your top 10. Of course you want to know what the lap differences is. Well, right now 5 drivers separated by 1 second, but that was the first lap. That was what we're able to call lap de reconnaissance if you were speaking in French. Now you're onto that hot lap, and you're really thinking, okay, it doesn't matter where the crash is, I'm going to try and find my way through it, Charles.
Yeah, some drivers definitely had issues on their first flying laps with traffic, with incidents up ahead. It's all about keeping it going, because there's no damage. Keep your qualifying session going, keep smashing as many laps as you can, and hope for the best.
Smash the lap times, just don't smash the other drivers. That's basically it. Dylan Tam then, number 144 car. He's got driver to his left-hand side. That's now going to move the way to go to the opposite point. You've got to remember as well, for these drivers being passed on the Conrod straight, they're actually trying to get themselves in position for their next lap as we're on board with Dylan Tan. You can see him working the wheel as well, almost cutting the grass down to run down into the chase. Not quite sure what he was doing there, but he's got one car ahead of him as you break yourself down into the chase then. Turns 20, 21, 22. The drivers behind, they're actually getting themselves set up for their next lap, and there's realistically now 2 more flying laps to go. If you're doing a flying lap, then basically your next lap is your slow lap. Then you go fast once again. If you're just coming onto a lap, this is where, right about now, you need to be holding that wheel as tightly as you dare to and getting ready for Hell Corner.
Yeah, as I said, as we mentioned earlier, you know, Dylan was definitely held up a little bit there going into the final corner. You lose 2 tenths, 3 tenths just by getting held up in the braking zone and getting the wrong line in the corner. So with 14 cars separated by a second in practice, it's these tiny margins are going to be so crucial.
We go from looking at one community member to the opposite team, looking at Next Level Racing and their community member. That is Jeff Newton, heading himself into the chase now. Got another Next Level Racing community member ahead. I haven't yet asked this question. Do you think that the two rivals, as I'm going to call them here today, do you think they're actually going to be working with each other? Are we going to get Legion of Racers drivers trying to push their way past Next Level Racing? Are we going to get Next Level Racing trying to, you know, work together as one set of communities and try and, you know, see, can I actually beat these Legion of Racers guys on qualifying? Because right now, it is very even, but I would give the advantage to the Legion of Racers for the time being.
Yeah, the Legion of Racers driver lineup is very strong with Dylan Tan, Andika Milana, Fanny Ragnat, and a couple other guys down the field. You know, they're a very talented bunch of individuals. You know, Andika Milana is one of the top-rated sim racers in the whole of Asia, and no less around the world. And it's such a privilege to have such a wide variety of drivers on this grid. Now, you know, Nicolas Rubila, one of our ambassadors, he's a Gran Turismo champion and known all around the world in the communities for being one of the most relentless, aggressive, but also consistent drivers. So our community members are going to have a bit of a challenge today, the strong field. So much for casual race event.
And then, of course, you got all these great community members, great drivers around the world, and you get stuck with me on commentary. 5 minutes to go in qualifying right now, and it is Next Level Racing at the top of the timing tower with a 1 minute 232.132. This is why sometimes you can't rely on a timing screen. It's a 232.132. Not much between himself and Cody Deef, who's on 232.338. We're looking still at Jeff Newton in the number 71 car, yet to have set a time in qualifying. I can tell you, 37 drivers have set themselves a qualifying time. Slowest right now at 2:51.612. That's about as fast as I can normally go, not gonna lie to you. If I was in qualifying, I would be at the back of the field and just driving around it. What's the speed limit at Bathurst normally? So is it 80 kilometers an hour normally?
I think it's 50.
Oh, gee. So, yeah, I would be going about 50 kilometers an hour. I would be doing a lap at that exact pace, but we see Newton heading himself then down into the chase right now. Sector 1, 59.358. That's about a second off the fastest that I've seen. Sector 2, 36.113. That's around the average of what we expect to see around here. Coming through Sector 3 right now, which basically is a long shot away the chase, and of course then the final corner. He's got some drivers ahead of him, but they're not going to impact him, or are they going to impact him? That's Next Level Racing, 456 down the outside there, but Jeff does complete his lap at 234.484. That will place him in 24th place.
Yeah, what Jeff needs to do now is build a little bit of a gap at the car ahead, just pull away, and make sure you have a clean lap, because he definitely was costed a second there at the end.
Yeah, 3 minutes 13 remaining in qualifying. We'll talk about what happens when the checkered flag comes out. When the checkered flag comes out, we'll tell you what the situation is going to be. But it's very packed on this track, and I'm seeing groups of about 10, 11 cars on track right now. They are all looking for that little bit of an advantage, and it is. There we are, looking at Adika Maluna in the Legion of Racers number 21 car. Talk about his exploits, of course, being one of the best, most rated drivers in the Asian region. And that number 21 car right now in 14th place, 1.3 back from your fastest time that's been set so far, of course, by Nicholas Rubler. But for Adika, it looks like he's I'm not going to call it a slow lap. This is a reconnaissance lap for him, getting himself back into the groove. As, yeah, this lap isn't the fastest that I've seen so far down the mountain. 125 as he hits the apex of that corner. But for him, he's got some traffic ahead of him. You don't want to be too close to the traffic ahead, especially down here, because if you are one of the best racers, you can gain yourself a second and a half here. And that basically means you go from being where you are to basically being right on the rails. You're bumping as you come through Forest Elbow.
Yeah, it's tricky, isn't it, Will? Because you don't want to be too close and get held up by the car in front, but you also don't want to be too far away to lose the draft. And as you said, it's worth over a second at this track with these MX-5s. So yeah, it's a tricky one to judge.
Yeah. So we're coming down to the last 100 seconds on the timing tower right now. Adika. Oh, she's going to hit them. He's going to hit them. That's going to be qualifying over for him for that lap. It looked close, but then all of a sudden he just ends up tagging the rear of one of the Next Level Racing community cars, and that 0X will invalidate any lap that he might have been trying to do. We're just going to get confirmation as he comes past the start and finish line what time it would have been. It would have been a 2:33.335. That would have been fast of him, but because of that contact, no qualifying time. Off you go. This is your last chance then for the number 21 car to improve from what is 14th place. We turn our attention over to Miguel Castro in the 008 car, currently 1 second back from Nicholas Rubler in the number 1 car. And for Miguel Castro right now, it's going to be close. He might get one more lap in. My times are all messed up with the Miatas. He's got 38 seconds to go. I think he will get one more lap in, but only just. Currently in 9th place. And he's got 4 drivers from his community ahead of him on the field. He'd love to get a little bit further up in the field, because right now this is really a Legion of Racers top 10. Through the final corner then will come Miguel Castro, 2:33.296, just slower than what he's done previously.
So as a timer ticks down to 0, these guys are going to have to focus and really pull the final qualifying lap out of the bag.
As that time has now just ticked to 0, Josh Anderson looking at him then, currently 3rd place in qualifying, 2:32.367 is his fastest lap around this Mount Panorama racetrack. Barney is waving the checkered flag right now as Josh Anderson, a 2:31, top of the timing tower for all of just one moment, because then Muggleton right behind goes to the top with a 2:31.467. Well, we're excited. My dog's excited because her dog food's just arrived for the next month. But what a closer we had with Muggleton, Anderson going pole for literally 2 seconds. Muggleton improves to half a second faster almost.
Oh, that was such a tight qualifying, but Muggleton and Anderson pulling laps out of the bag at the end to put themselves almost half a second, well, Muggleton half a second up on Anderson. Well, I shouldn't speak too soon because qualifying is not actually over yet, as the rest of the drivers are set to complete their final lap.
Yes, it's provisional. What we're talking here is provisional, because we have still got drivers on their fast lap here. We're looking at Cody Deef, of course. Number 88 car working himself down through Forest Elbow, down the corner straight for the final time. Currently 0.8 of a second back from pole position. Right now, we could be on course for an LOR 1-2-3 qualifying. It all depends, though, on this lap. As Cody Deef comes down into the chase for his final time then in qualifying here at Mount Panorama. Cody Deef has now exited the chase, heading himself down into Murray's corner for the final time. Does he? get himself through this corner well. 2:32 was his fastest lap time. It's now 2:31.467 the time to beat. He does not go faster. Cody Deef then remained in 4th place. Just having a look through. Last couple of drivers coming past the start-finish line. This is the number 68 car of Sejian coming through then. 2:34.915. Goes slower again. Now we turn over to the 880 car of Mohammed Imran Danish. 2:37.4, goes much faster. From 37th, he will head himself up the timing tower. He doesn't actually. Qualifying lap invalid for him. Qualifying lap invalid for him, Charles.
Oh, that's unfortunate, but a sick drift there at the end of the really exciting qualifying session.
Should we get ourselves a starting grid in a moment? I think we need one. There we are then, last couple of moments in qualifying. Josh Muggleton, Next Level Racing Community member, a 2:31.467, gets pole position by over 4.5 tenths of a second over Josh Anderson. So it's Josh's Next Level Racing Community members. You can't do anything else but change the car number. They're the front row of your grid. Then you got Nicolas Guillermo Rubla Vidal in P number 3. Cody Deef in 4th place. Joshua Soto in 5th. Adam Borg in P number 6. 7th place is Madison Down with Dominic Plona in 8th. Dylan Town in 9th and Daniel Gray running out your top 10. Miguel Castro in 11th place. Jeremy Shipley in 12th. Then 13th, you got Fadli Rajmat in the number 62 car. Cameron Pedersen, 14th. Adika Rama Maluna in 15th place. Scott McLaren, 16th. Hayden Sells, 17th. 18th place is Alex Gardner. 19th is Horako Kalquin. And Calix Poon rounds out your top 20. We're going to cycle through the rest of those qualifying times up on your screen over about the next minute or so. Because here's the thing, Charles. Qualifying was one thing. Racing is another. These drivers inside your top 10 might be thinking they get away from the carnage. There is going to be carnage. We just don't know how massive it's going to be.
Yeah, let's hope that they all keep their noses clean at this track. You know, with really great prizes on offer, I think it's going to be hotly contested, but everyone's going to have a big task on hand today with the quality grid that we have.
Well, we've got a standing start. The drivers are on the grid right now. Get through a couple of these questions very quickly. Do the drivers need to pit? No. How much fuel in litres? It doesn't matter. You're going to have enough fuel to get around 20 minutes around here. Good luck, have fun. Please be careful into turn number 1. No one's going to be careful into turn number 1. Let's get that one out of the way, Charles. They don't want to be the car that is the incident, but they want to be the car that can get through safely onto mountain straight away. So I expect to see a lot of aggressiveness of that inside curb. And then again, the drivers that push a little bit wide through Hell Corner, they're really going to be abusing that curb on the outside of the track to make sure they don't lose any momentum.
Yeah, and remember as well, it's a pretty long race for the MX-5s here. With a lap time around 2.5 minutes, you're looking at maybe 8 to 9 racing laps. So it's all about staying in contention as well till the end, and that's when you can really make your attack for the win, or make a position.
Make a position, lose position, do anything. A wonderful look then down at your starting grid here at Mount Panorama. Yeah, we're gridding. Someone needs to get us some super cheap top logo. But hey, apart from that, we've got ourselves. I know. Even I, who's not like watching Australian racing 24/7, knows that one. Well, that's your starting grid, and the key point to note, Charles, is what I said earlier. Look at the background. Look at the drivers that are not even on the starting grid. They're not even on the apex of Murray's Corner. But we're ready to go racing. I'll get back to you on that one in a moment, because we have got ourselves no time left for gridding. Drivers are on the grid. Drivers are underway then for 20 minutes worth of racing here at Mount Panorama. It is Next Level Racing versus your Legion of Racers through turn number 1, where your top 10 are through without incident. And here's a look then as they come onto Mountain Straight for the first time. A little bit of freewide racing down in the background, but you know what? I'd call myself surprised. You've got 30 drivers. We've got our entire field through turn number 1 without a wreck. Oh, just one lad pushing off wide.
Oh, that was impressive. Everyone made it through turn 1 without any spins or crashes into the wall. So that's a really good sight to see. And as they make their way up the mountain now, still nose to tail. Is there any incidents in the back? It's all clear.
You've got, on one hand, the fact that drivers don't need to worry about what will happen if they push someone a little bit wide. On the other hand, you have the situations, we've got 52 drivers on track right now. They've got to remember that they are battling for prizes. So that's a little bit of the retaliatory factor there. Yes, you can be aggressive, but you can't be too aggressive. You can't make enemies in lap number 1 because it will come back to haunt you. Muggleton leads from Anderson out the front of your field by about 1/10 of a second. I can tell you for fact that your top 4 have broken away a little bit. You've got Muggleton, Anderson, Ribbolite and Deef. They are currently in a tiny pack with about 8/10 of a second further ahead of Josh Soto, Madison Down, etc. So, as we work ourselves down the mountain for the first time in this race, I can tell you that surprisingly, and I say surprisingly here, that's our first big incident of the day. 2 cars turned around as they worked themselves, and this is getting bigger and bigger by the moment.
Yeah, as they come down towards the second half of the lap, down at the elbow, still mostly clean with the pack being separated by a few seconds, you know, with every group of each car. So as it comes to the chase, is that Aaron Borg that we're looking at? No, that's Josh Anderson, our leader. So the lead car is absolutely unique, except for the one behind it, which is actually identical.
Yeah, indeed so. I love that. That's exactly a Murray Walker quote from the 1980s. You've got yourselves at the front of your field. You notice by this way, on the left-hand side of your timing tower, we've got different colours. We're going to explain that to you who are just joining the race over the course of our remaining webcasts. As we've got one driver into the wall there, and that is Alex Gardner. That is down at the last corner. Be careful when you spin that car back around. You don't want to reverse into traffic, and that's exactly what happens if you do.
Yeah, he might want to give it a little flick spin. There we go. There he's going.
These are
and actually, there's no damage to the car except to the car itself, which healed itself, as we spoke about earlier.
Yeah, and there's a replay there of Alex Gardner as he just tries to get out of the way, ends up punting himself into the tyre barriers. And yes, this is self-repairing race car mode here today. As we just wait for him then, he's trying to figure out a way of turning that car around. These Mazda's MX-5s, they're not as easy to turn around as others. And then he gets punted from the rear, but actually it makes it easier for him then to come back out on track. There we are, a little flick on the Next Level Racing Ambassador car number 48, back out onto track. Now, worth noting that at the end of the first lap, your Vidal, Keith, Soto, etc., Madison Down, they close 8/10 of a second down to absolutely nothing. That's what we're expecting to see all the way through this race. Madison Down in 6th place, Soto in 5th. Soto actually got passed into the chase like last time by, and he's now down to 5th place as Cody Deef smoothed himself up into 4th.
Yeah, the leading pack still running nose to tail. How many cars is in the leading pack? Oh, there's a big incident up at Skyline.
5 cars, I think, involved in there. Some people's already retired back to the pits even. That was Louis, we just saw. Again, pointing the wrong way. You've got to remember, there is a load of cars trying to get themselves through it. Louis Vega is on pit road right now in the number 52 car. So the issue is, these cars, as I say, they're not the easiest to do a 3-point turn in. Not that easy to get yourself turned around 180 degrees. I can tell you though, Muggleton and Anderson have changed for the race lead, and there's more going on behind.
Yeah, he must have made that pass into the chase, which was flat out, and he definitely wanted that position. Now let's see if Anderson can do anything about it. And Nicolas Rubila and Soto and Madison Down all in a line behind him. They all want that top spot.
The key thing is we are already 25% of the way into this race. Muggleton leads from Anderson, from Vidal, from Deep, then Soto, Madison Down, Borg in 6th and 7th places respectively. It's worth noting a list of retirees so far. Your favourite driver, we apologise. Ben Royal, number 31 car, is out. Rico Ruzic is out. And, well, that's a big incident as you see them going
up staff members Park. Oh no, Kenny. I believe it was Kenny that actually, his incident caused the multi-car pileup there.
I've done bumper cars in my life. and that would have been a massive hit if that was in real track. Kenny,
Yeah, but that's all good. That's all good. That's all good. Just keep going. There's no damage.
Yeah, at this point, I want to say apologies as well to fans of the number 880 car. Mohammed Imran Danish is out of this race. Everyone else is still on track as we keep on talking about there is no damage. So you might see bits of cars flying across the track. They magically, by magnet, get put back together. Magnussen leads from Anderson. Rublar in third place. I'm just having a look through. There's no one really that's managed to work themselves up massive gaps. And one of the reasons why is as soon as you get into this draft train, it's very difficult to make a move unless they start going 2-3 wide down either Conrad or the mountain straight away.
Yeah, watching the top group running so close together down the hill makes me cringe. It's oh, as I said, that incident. No, that's fine. It's still going.
Anderson.
Still going. Yeah, that was
no,
Anderson.
It's Anderson though.
Oh no. That's fine. That's fine. He can still keep going because there's no damage done to the car, and he can still work hard to close up the gap to the top two. But as you can see here, they're all in the draft going down the hill, going down to the chase.
You're on board.
A little bump draft action going on there.
Yeah, indeed. So looking at Cody Deef, then a number 88 car working down the chase. He's going to carry on bumping him all the way down to the chase and then tries to flick down to the inside. Car just wasn't stable enough for him by the looks of it. But yeah, Anderson's down. Now, it was a 1 second gap between 2 and 3. Then the drive comes in and trouble down at the chase. This one then is going to involve 3 drivers. It starts off with Daniel Gray involved in that one. They were inside the top 10. And look at the carnage behind.
Oh, dearie me. I hope they turn themselves around and get going soon, because if they don't get off the track, it's going to cause an even bigger accident. Even more cars get piled up.
Yeah, I think this is what we like to call a diversion in place out of T22. And they're still crashing behind. So there's a number of drivers involved, and they're still crashing. Now, don't forget, these drivers will get notification of a yellow flag. There's something happening in front of them, but no one knows exactly what that is.
Yeah, I think that should be a yellow flag there. Yes.
Out of the final corner then. We're going to turn our attention back towards the top of the field. We've had our fun at the bottom. Oh, actually, no, it wasn't even the bottom of the field. It was your top 10 that was involved. Now, of course, has moved. We've got to be careful about that. That's moved 2 drivers of our purple category up into 9th and 10th field. So Daniel Tan's up to 10th place in number 144. And you've got Rajmat up into 9th place in number 62 cars. It's all going off then up the mountain at the front of your field.
Oh yeah, this is definitely a race of attrition. Like I said at the start, it's all about staying in there and keeping yourself in contention for the top spots, because so easily these big incidents can happen in the mountain, as it's famous for. As Rublar leads over the top of the mountain, Buckleton and Anderson behind. Oh, he's running very wide there, going into the skyline.
Yeah, I was going to say, that was not a good line to make for Lonely Park.
No, but he gathered himself up there, and what a beautiful heli shot this is, going down the mountain.
Indeed. Gnarly worked himself through the ashes. We're going to get ourselves a replay then. This is the treble 6 car of Haraka Calquin down. Oh, that's the incident we saw earlier. This is down into the final part, the chase part of the racetrack. I was trying to think there. Chase is the chase. But we've got Rublar leading. It's the first time in this race that we've had Rublar even lead this race. Mugson and Anderson now shuffle back to 2nd and 3rd place on track. You have got, though, 4 Legion of Racers car against 1 Next Level Racing car, and Muggleton takes the lead into the chase then, as we are now officially halfway through this race.
Soto gets taken out at the back there, just out of shot. That's going to be disappointing for the young driver, because he was showing a really good performance until he went off there.
Yeah, Soto had been doing a great job in that 07 car, but it's all changed once again. Muggleton will lead then at the official halfway lap point of the race. I will say one thing. Looking at that timing tower on the left-hand side, Legion of Racers have come out to play here, because they have got over 2/3 of the drivers inside your top 15. Legion of Racers, well, I don't know if this has been through strategy, through just being careful, but look at the amount of blue that you got in your timing tower.
I have to correct you there. Will, it's number number 62 car and the number 144 car, Fadli Rahman and Dylan Tan, who are from Legion of Racers.
That's the one. Sorry.
Yeah, the blue drivers are community members.
Yeah,
we all need our coffee, don't we?
I do need my coffee this morning. So yeah, sorry, Legion of, we got that one right. So community members, Muggleton leading from Anderson from Keith. I don't know why I said that one. I was looking at my timing tower with my notes in my corner. We changed it all around. This is what happens when you read from a notebook. You never get it right. But we've got 8 minutes 44 remaining in this race. Muggleton continues to lead away from Vidal. Anderson third, deep in fourth place. But look at Madison Down is 1.3 seconds back right now. I want to have a look at that lap time once they get past. And this was the massive incident we had at the chase earlier on. And it just seems to, every time it almost got itself cleaned up, they all end up going back to the same part of the racetrack. And just look at that, at one point there was no way through. It was a bit like you'd have to literally close your eyes, point your car in one part of the direction and just say, okay, am I going to make it or not? Really doesn't help you had a car going backwards, literally on the apex into Murray's corner as well.
Yeah, that was definitely a bit of a melee there in that corner, and so that would have spread the field out a little bit more actually. But our top 5, top 6 are still relatively close on track. With top 5, Vidal, no, sorry, that's Nicholas Rubila, Anderson D, Madison Down, and Aaron Borg, separated by only 2.5 seconds. This is going to be building up towards a really exciting end of the race with 7 minutes, just over 7 minutes to go.
Another replay. This was down. Oh my word! Whoa, that was what we saw with Josh Muggleton then. That was a massive one down the mountain. And this is the thing. Don't forget, you can try and turn a car around here if you know how to do it. But this is a replay of Muggleton being turned around. 2 drivers. He actually was one turning a car around and then ended up backwards as they went down the mountain. But it's all starting to kick off at the front of your field, because now Muggleton's down into 6th place. Of course, let's not forget, no damage here. We've got another replay. This was with Hayden Sell in towards the chase.
Oh, he just got tagged going into the entry there. That was so unfortunate. It's tiny margins, and just a little bit of contact like that, closing the door, you can get spun off so easily. So drivers are going to have to watch out for that. Give other drivers a little bit more space and work with them to go forward, not backward.
That's what happened with Joshua Soto. That's why he's now down the rear part of your top 10. Worth noting, Muggleton is in 6th place, but he is now 4.6 seconds behind your leading Gaggle. The interesting point to note here, Charles, will be, can Muggleton actually get himself back up into this group if they continue to fight? As we got another replay then. This is with Flynn, Godfrey Mullinate down into the chase, and pow! Right in the kisser.
Oh, that was a big hit there. Thankfully, the self-healing Mazdas are in play today, so no damage done.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know what would have been the case if there was no self-healing Masters. We talked about this one before we actually got this entire event underway. It's very glad that the self-healing Masters are in play. We're looking right now at Cody D for the number 88 card, charging Josh Anderson, charging Nicholas Rubila. We're going to get the prizes that are up for grabs back up on your screen in a couple of moments' time to talk about what people are racing for here today, Charles, because there are prizes, of course, for community members. There's prizes also for anyone that's taking part in this race here today.
Yep, exactly. We have prizes for the outright winners. We have iRacing vouchers, we have cockpits up for grabs, and also one lucky winner from the overall entry list will also receive an iRacing voucher. So it's plenty to look forward to, even after the race is finished.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing. I don't need any prizes to be taking part in this race. I could do with a driving lesson more than anything else. We're looking at Madison Down. Next Level Racing Ambassador, number 32 car, about half a second off the race lead. Keeping my eye out, by the way, on Muggleton. Muggleton is remaining about where he was in terms of the gap behind. So he's not going to get the draft right now. He needs to do 1 or 2 hot qualifying laps down on the outside, then into Murray's. Decides not to go for the pass over Nicholas Rubila in the number 1 car, but stays in line. The top 4 drivers, that is Aaron Borg there in 5th place, you can see, and then Josh Muggleton in 6th at the rear of the shot. So really for Muggleton, he has to get about a second over Borg to get his slipstream, then run away past Borg to get up to Madison Down et al. We've only got realistically, in fact not even realistically, there's 2 more laps of this race to go. This one and the next one. There we are, race done, gone.
Yeah, Borg might be actually in a pretty advantageous situation right now, sitting just over 1.5 seconds behind Madison Down there. If there's an incident at the top 4, they are going to get caught up, and he will have some time to react to that. Whereas these guys, these top 4 guys running nose to tail, if there is an incident, they will be caught up in it.
Yeah, indeed. So they're up the mountain now for the penultimate time. The key question is though, where do you position your car if you want to go for the W? Do you remain where you are in 2nd, 3rd place, knowing how big this draft is? And if you're Anderson, knowing that you're potentially a sitting duck, is there anything you could do to try and secure this victory?
Yeah, I think if you cross the line first, I think you'll win the race.
Oh, come on, we know
Apparently.
that one. We know that one, but when you're a sitting duck all the way down into the chase, what would you do?
Yeah, you just want to keep the car right in the middle of the road. You know, don't let them. You definitely don't want them to have a run on you on the outside going into the chase, because that means they are on the inside for the big braking zone for the left. So ideally you want to just keep the car in the middle of the road, block off the left side, and hope that they try to overtake on the outside.
You know what? I called an iRacing Indy 500 just over a week and a half ago, and there. Didn't matter where you were on track. You could have been on the inside, you could have been on the outside. Someone still found a way to go through the middle to get themselves the victory. So, Christine Steele, congratulations on that one. We might see something like that. Look at that. They were already trying to get themselves into position. And I'm also thinking about whether or not there's going to be a contact there over Anderson, but they stay where they are for the time being. We're down in 2nd place. So that's Rubila in 2nd place. Go on.
That was a brilliant move by Rubila around the outside of the chase, and now we see Madison Down trying to go for an outside move again. 2 cars into the final corner. Can he do it? He just gets run wide into the final corner. As Barney waves the white flag, top 4 cross the line. Pretty much equal.
They are. And I'll tell you what it was at the gap. It was about half a second separating your top 4 drivers. This then is your last lap of this event. And we say Legion of Racers versus Next Level Racing here. Thank you very much to everyone who's been watching this race across social media. Miatas on the mountain will come down to the final lap. Anderson leads without, so Rubila in 2nd, Steve in 3rd, Madison Down in 4th. Just to give you updates to Muggleton, he's closed up, but nowhere near enough. Unless, of course, there is an incident on this final lap, and we all know there's going to be an incident. We just don't know quite where it's going to be.
Yeah, I'm hoping these top guys stay clean and have a really good battle, a really good overtake towards the end of the lap. But you know, anything can happen. It's Bathurst after all.
Yeah, as we're looking for the rear.
It's so impressive. It's so impressive to see Nicholas Rubila, you know, transferring his skills from Gran Turismo onto iRacing, and he's still wicked fast here as he faces Josh Anderson up the hill.
Most importantly, he's one of the few drivers that can actually brake car overlay as well. So we're really thankful for our ticket using slightly different software. Look at that then, side by side, over through McMillanly Park, and they survive it there. Madison Down was temporarily up into 3rd place over Cody Deef, but wasn't able to do anything then for the moment. In fact, it looks like Madison Down was struggling just a little bit as they work themselves through Skyline, but you've now got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drivers in play, because Aaron Borg has now gotten himself back into the mix as well. We're looking then on board with Nicholas Rubila in 2nd place. The gap is about 4 tenths of a second as they come out of turn 19. The hoodie is on. Strikingly cool then. Here's the Next Level Racing ambassador, but now you can see that gap come to close. It's going to be side by side through. Yeah, it's going to be side by side.
Rubila takes the lead with these close behind him. Let's see who's the last of the late breakers to the chase. Little bit of contact there. 2 cars go off.
Two cars go off, and what that means is it's going to be a showdown at the line. There's going to be some slowdown penalties involved in this one as well, but it looks as though Nicholas Rubilar could well be coming home with the W here, because don't forget, two drivers will have themselves a slowdown penalty, which they'll take after the race. By the looks of it, it will be the number one car, number one in the standings. Nicholas Rubilar takes victory here, and the Next Level Racing ambassador does a little fist pump after 20 minutes worth of racing. It came down to the chase for the final time. Two drivers go off track, and well, we didn't have the calamity we expected, but it was mighty close into the chase in that final lap, and Rubilar able to survive. Anderson comes home in second, Cody Deef in third, and Madison Down in fourth.
Yeah, that was a brilliant race for not just the top five, but everyone else in this race. You see everyone quite spread out there, with Rubilar taking the victory after an intense 20 minutes battle with 6 other cars. That was very well deserved, and his smile there at the end confirmed.
Oh yeah, indeed. Just waiting then for the rest of drivers to come past the start-finish line to finish their race up and down the mountain. But what a race then for Nicholas Rubilar. He is a Next Level Racing ambassador. You've got to say, he really did rep the brand well today. Josh Anderson second place, Cody Deef in third. Yeah, they're having some interesting get-togethers, shall we say. It's a bit like a nightclub at 3 a.m, the way they're bouncing into each other. But Rubilar gets the victory, number one car. We're going to get our race results then in just a moment's time. And then after that, we've got interviews. There we are, our race results after 8 laps. Our fastest lap was set by Daniel Gray on lap number 2 at 2:32.3. But here's your top 10. Nicholas Rubilar claims victory by a tenth and a bit over Josh Anderson. Cody Deef then in third place. Madison Down in fourth. You've got Aaron Borg in fifth place. Josh Muggleton in sixth. Daniel Gray seventh. Our first Legion of Racers drivers is Ratchmat in P number 8. Joshua Soto in 9th. And then Dylan Town round out your top 10. In P number 11, you've got Jeremy Shipley, then Josh Newton in 12th, Hayden Sell 13th, Dominic Ploner 14th, Scott McLaren in P number 15. Next Level Racing staff member Kenny Konomas in P number 16, Jay McCabe in 17th, Daniel Lothan 18th, Ben Faulkner 19th, and 20th is Abdul Hakim. As we just show the rest of those results up on your screen. It's been a fun race. We've got to be honest about that one. It's been an absolutely fun race to watch and to commentate on. We're going to have some interviews. Do you want to do interviews, Charles?
Yeah, let's go for it. We've got Nicholas Rubilar in the room with us. Congratulations, Nicholas. How was that for you?
Hey, well, that was not really good for my heart, I think. That's a really good race.
Yeah, look really close the whole race, nose to tail, and fair play for keeping it clean the entire time. And yeah, I think you really deserved that one. How did you find racing with our community members as well as our other ambassadors?
Well, it's pretty much like a really high level racing in for example, the officials races, and yeah, it was really super intense. There was really close combat, but really fair at the same time, really clean. So it was really good to drive, really fun.
Yeah, brilliant, mate. Like honestly, how much practice did you put in for this race?
I just managed to do some laps yesterday, like 1 hour and 1 hour today, and that was all my practice.
Wow, your skills definitely transferred over from Gran Turismo. Honestly, congratulations on winning the overall prize.
Thank you.
It looks like he's got a lot of sim racing stuff set up, so you never know. Just a new rig, new stuff for him. So adding to his collection will be the correct way of saying it for Nicholas Rubilar. There's our prizes then. Nicholas Rubilar will get himself a GT Elite cockpit, and then our first place community member gets themselves a Next Level Racing Elite gaming chair. So that will be a nice little present as well. And then of course you've got community prizes and then a giveaway as well to one member that took part in this race. I'm sure that'll be posted across Next Level Racing social media pages very soon. And you know, we've got Josh Anderson here for a chat, coming home in P number 2, Charles.
Hi Josh, can you hear us?
Yep, gotcha.
Yeah, congratulations Josh. finishing second place in the race. I believe you are the first of our community members as well, and
Yeah.
you've won a really good prize, new gaming chair.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, massive thanks, guys. It's a cool event. Some intense racing.
Yeah, how did you find battling those to tail for 20 minutes? How's your heart rate there?
Yeah, certainly was interesting. Probably didn't play the last lap the best possible way, but a bit of fun. Yeah, that's the way racing goes sometimes. So it I probably in hindsight I would have slowed it up a bit more down the hill, so they couldn't get the momentum coming down Conrod. But yeah, there was nothing we could really do anyway. But no, it was on for young and old. It was a good race. So thanks for putting on the event.
Yeah, no, thank you for turning up, and honestly, congratulations once again. You really showed yourself out there, and you beat some really, really quick drivers on the grid today, so congratulations, well done.
Oh, thanks, mate. Much appreciated.
And I think I'll send my congratulations over to you too, Josh. Well done.
Thank you, Will.
No worries. As well, that pretty much, we've got one more driver potentially to come and see us, but apart from that, I would say, Charles, fast, intensive racing. We had a bit of a thought before this race that we'd end up with 45 cars crashed down at turn 3, lap number 1, and then we'd have to find a way of getting these drivers back to competitive racing, but we didn't need that in the end. Your top 10 largely clean throughout the race. You did have some argy-bargy moments, and in fact everyone in this race, I think, were just keeping themselves, recognizing that, it's anti-damage, so no damage around here, but more importantly, they were thinking, you know what, this is still a race, I'm still wrapping myself in my community. I'm sure Charles is trying to say something right now. He's putting together something. I'll tell you what, Charles, I like to think about that one whilst I talk to Cody Dees. Cody, congratulations on your position here today. Coming home third, you are our third of the podium here today. It all looks to be a little bit crazy throughout this race, but no more than on that final lap.
Yeah, it was very interesting. I probably shouldn't have gone the outside on the last lap, but yeah, it was good fun.
Talk us through the race. Of course, your second place in terms of the Next Level Racing community members. You were battling it out with Josh Anderson at the end for overall in terms of community. How was the racing? How intense was the racing? And any things you do differently apart from going around the outside of the chase on that last lap?
Probably should have just gone to the lead earlier, really. Instead of trying to brave it out in the last lap. Should have just gone for it early. But
we saw you boys. We saw you boys doing a bit of bump drafting there. How much bump drafting did you do the whole race?
Pretty much the whole race, to be honest. So it's been a bit of a, I guess, scaredy cat, you could say. Just bump drafting, but oh well, good fun.
It looked pretty epic on the stream, mate, I gotta tell you. And I think you drove a brilliant race to finish third.
Thank you, mate. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you very much, Cody. Third place, we've got one more very quickly. Josh Muggleton come home in 6th place. You know what? You could have gone for the W. Talk us through what happened in that crazy situation, and talk us how hard were you pushing those last 2 laps to try and get back into the fray?
Oh, I knew once I dropped the draft I was pretty much out of it, but before then we had it pretty much under control. We were playing the race in reverse from the back there, planning what we were going to do on the last lap, and then, I don't know, a lap car decided to come out and race with the leaders and get involved with us and cause an incident, so pretty disappointing.
Disappointing, but you did rep Next Level Racing well here today. How was it to be a part of such an intense race like this?
Oh, it was awesome. It's great fun. Like, in these cars around that track, it's very, very close, and you can't make a mistake, or if you drop that draft, you're out of it. So the pressure's on, and you got to really rise to the occasion. So that's something I enjoy and had fun doing, but it wasn't to be this time. I'll just stay in my trusty Next Level Racing GT track for now.
We'll hopefully see you next time anyway, though, Josh. Congratulations with 6th place still in this race. And it's got to be worth noting as well, he did gain about a second then over your leaders in the last 2 laps of this race. Well, we are almost ready to say goodbye, Charles. But before we do, any final thoughts from yourself?
I think it was a brilliant event to have our community come together, with our ambassadors, our streamers, and as well as our partners, Legion of Racers. They did a really great job, qualifying up the grid. Unfortunately, some of them got taken out, but that's racing sometimes. And we're going to look forward to next event, hopefully next month.
Oh yeah, many more of these to come. So from my co-commentator Charles and also from our executive producer Hugo Louise, we'd like to say thank you for being a part of this event, putting together Legion of Racers and Next Level Racing. This has been a RaceSport TV presentation of Mount Panorama. As we say, thank you so much for watching us across Twitch, across YouTube, across Twitter, and so many more places. We hope to see you soon as we say good night from the mountain. Good night from Mount Panorama.